All right. Step into the party. Mm. All right, guys. I'm gonna start working on this. Go put some music. Put some music in the background. Some lo-fi music. Just start a party. Um. Ew. Sure. All right. Let's open up this thing and then. Mm, 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 mm. I think this is where I left off right here. Let's see the other one. Anyway, if you guys want to see what I'm doing, do you guys want to see what I'm doing? I'm just editing stuff, so. Yeah, the regular thing when you hit the Gaussian blur, it shows on the actual thing, but here it doesn't. Like it doesn't show on like a channel. It just automatically puts it on the layer, and you have to work off the layer. So I mean, same principles apply when you like put a layer mask or some shit. Then I could go like into the layer mask, and then like just like hit the stuff that I need to hit. Something like that, right? And then I hit another layer, and then let's say I want this like combo breaker purple back here, right? Um, then I hit this and I darken it, right? And the opacity, I change it, right? And then I go into the layer and I start removing it from the player. See? Something like that. It's just simple. I don't need to do too much. But it gives the ambience a combo breaker. And then the color in the background, as you guys can see, still gives like the feel, the ambience. So like little tweaks like here, for example, like around him, so to make sure that something like that. Just little tweaks. And then like little things that I would like to do, for example, is like all this extra space isn't really needed, so I could just like shrink it to about here, and that still give you a good head profile. You see? And then instead of centering it, I could like side profile it like that. There. Send that over to my boy Carson. I'll just save it here. Where did that save? Four four seven eight. Huh. That's why. See, uh, now we got something good. We got cooking. We got that cooking. All right, let's go on to the next photo, brother. We got 200 and something photos to do. Gonna be here a while. This one's a little bit blurry, so what I want to do is I want to lower down the exposure, right? I want to give it like a cinematic feel, so um, gonna lower down the exposure. All right, I'm here. Let me take myself out from the middle as well. Cool. Anyway, so I lowered down the exposure to give it like a little cinematic feel, and then I turn around, bump up the contrast as well, and then the highlights here. I check out the highlights to see what I'm losing because the higher the highlights, the more things in the background get lost. So I lower down the highlights to still give like better on the black and whites here or whatever. Um, then I kind of gauge the whites. If I need whites, I believe I do. That way his cheeks are rosier. The contrast between the skin color and the skin tone of the other competitor here is nice and crisp, the same way as like the afro and his hairline here. So here we go. So now, again, the custom theme for me for Combo Breaker is the color purple. I associate purple to Combo Breaker uh, since forever. So the common theme for me is that. What I don't like is that depending on the settings of your camera could get more warm colors than cool colors. So I like to always kind of like dive a little bit into the cooler colors, right? So that gives it like the natural tone, how you would see it based off your eye level, or your eye vision. But because I'm not making this to look as natural as that, that's not what I want. Um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go instead of going green, I'm going to go into the purple realm. So that purple, right? That going into that purple realm, what it does is it starts giving the ambience around the um around the players. You see the hedges, the edges and stuff is giving off like that purple lighting because, believe it or not, throughout Cabo Breaker, there's a lot of purple signs and things like that. Obviously, the sign itself is purple, so that's where all the color, that purplish color is starting to come off of from, is because of the background itself. So I'm making those colors bleed out from the actual picture, by going leaning into the purple and such, and then it's not killing their actual natural color. So with that, I hit a little bit of the vibrance, and then with the vibrance, I hit a little bit of saturation, of course, to get a little bit more pop, right? Then where the effects come in, texture, for example, because this is so grainy and it's kind of like blurry, I hit texture. I hit the hard texture, so that way the person in the front, these characters right here are these characters. The people in the front here are more defined, and you can see their texture, so it feels like they're more of the focus of the picture. Of course, cropping and things like that is gonna help with the adjustment. Um, the same with clarity. If you look at clarity, clarity would end up like, if you go to the left on the dark side of the clarity, you're gonna see like it goes back more so to like more natural colors. Whereas if you lean into this side, you start getting more grittier colors. So in this case, what I want, for this case, I want something somewhat of slightly gritty. So I'll go into 6, and then dehaze will help me adjust. As you can see, dehaze will help me adjust it so it don't look like it's bumpy. Uh, we hit the vignette, so that way the outside noise is kind of like less, and then a slight grain. We don't want to put too much, just about 3, because this picture's already grainy enough, already gritty, just based off the thing. So now here on the adjustment curve though is where things could get finicky if you don't touch stuff up the right way. So I don't want the background to be like standing out. So what I want is to hit this lower. As you can see, the colors from back here start fading out, and some of these colors start fading out. That's background colors. Now these guys here, I want these guys to kind of get hit with a vignette, but I don't want them to be in total darkness. So it's just more like a vignette that I'm using here. And then right around their face, around the center of the picture, I'm enhancing the lighting, right? So that way the light is contrast. Is the point of it is to give it a cinematic feel, a contrast look to it, right? So once we get that and we get these established things, now we have kind of like a base layer of that, and then I just say like open up as a copy, because I don't want to override the original. I don't want to override the original thing. So now that I got this here, what I like to do is put the people that are supposed to be in focus. So I kind of like open this up, get a layer here, make a layer of the same thing, and then I go to filters and hit a Gaussian blur on the filter. And let's say how heavy I really want this background to be is like, do I want them to be seen or not? Like I would say somewhere around here. Okay? That would be my thing. Um Give and take. So or a little bit less, kind of like here. Let's go up 15. So about 15 pixels, right? So what I end up doing by doing that, right? It by process, everything looks blurry, But all you have to do essentially is add a layer mask to this top picture, and then from the layer mask, I grab a bucket. I grab the bucket, right? It's black and white. Make sure that your colors are black and white. Grab the bucket, you drop it, and you're like, oh, everything came back into focus. Yeah, because you basically changed the layer mask to black, or basically erased. Black and white works in the so how black and white works in the frame space of digital art is that black and white is more like erasing than it is like black and white. Now you obviously can use it as color, but in the sense of this, it also is used as it's used like as the erasing feature. That's how the eraser works basically in digital art. And so it's a weird way to explain it, but yes, the eraser works on a black and white spectrum. As you can see, I'm on the eraser. It goes black, right? But if you go white, whatever you erased, then generally, so how it works is erasing erasing something in Photoshop. Let's say if you're erasing the actual layer, it completely deletes the data. You can't recuperate the data unless you undo the erasure, right? When you work on a filter layer, the filter layer, when you work on this layer mask, the filter layer, when you work on the layer mask essentially works as like a layover of the picture or whatever image that you're working on, and then essentially whatever you warp that layer mask is just on the actual mask. So if you fuck up, you can just delete the mask and start working all over again. It's just a fail-proof way to not have to start all over again from the actual picture, if it makes sense. Because Lord knows, let's say you're working on something that's time sensitive and you're already almost at the end, and then you notice that some shit from like 2 hours ago you erased it from one of the layers, one of the picture layers. Yeah, nah. So for those who understand digital media or digital art, it's imperative that you don't work on the actual layer. You want to work on a layer mask because it helps you in case you need to, like, okay, I can fix this by just simply using the eraser, right, and changing it to white. So an example of what I mean by that is this. Um, as you guys can see, everything came into focus. So right here, I'm doing this, and everything, as you can see, my layer mask is black, but my eraser is white. If you go, if you go the opposite color, it keeps everything the same, right? But if you go black and black, then what ends up happening is, oh, magic, right? Now the layer is turning white because you're coloring on the opposite spectrum of the layer mask. So now I am removing effectively the people in the background. I don't want these folks in the background. I want to focus on the people that are in the foreground playing their video games, right? So I go ahead, I do this. I can even make a bigger eraser and whatnot, you know, make it easier on myself or whatever, and keep just the foreground players. I don't want the background players here, none of this. Like, we don't care about none of that, right? Right? So now it's focused on these two players. Now this guy is blurry. There's really not much. There's really not much that we can do because the camera focused primarily on the other player, on this player, than both of them in the center of that. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we want to emphasize what the camera tried to emphasize, which would be this player. So what we do is we just you take what is it? Um, let's see. I should have cropped it first. Ah, perfect. So like I could do something like this, right? Like keep him there, but that'd be kind of bogus. Like I just kind of like remove the guy like that. So I just kind of like do something like this, like that he's in the picture, but not necessarily like the focus of the picture, right? And then I hit enter, and then now this looks like I took the picture primarily trying to focus on this person right here, right? But now what I want to do after that is essentially add another layer and then hit, of course, the combo breaker color, like I mentioned before. So I dabbled this in there, right? I added layer mask to it as well and look for the colors that I want. Um, I think I'm gonna do I'm gonna do color burn. I like color burn. Color burn is weird because you got to know how to use color burn, right? So I'm gonna do this at 50% there, right? So now that I got the color burn, what I do is I take my bucket, right, and I dump it, and we got the colors back just like I did with the layer, right? And then now I go ahead and just go ahead and take the background like I did earlier with the layer and just hit the background and whatnot. Give it the aura. But because I don't want this guy being the concentration of it, I also keep him in the same color. See? I don't know if I like shit like this, but and I make sure I keep like a vignette here, and voila! Now this picture has been masterized. I could go ahead and save it. Okay. Now it's saved. Now we move on to the next picture. Tokido-san. Right? So here we got Tokido-san. Um, what I want to do with Tokido-san is kind of make sure that like his features are showing, because it's kind of like dark here. So I want to go ahead and give a little brightness, but of course by doing so, also it starts fading out. You know, his already very pale skin, right? So I bumped the contrast a little bit here to give a bit of a fairer skin. See, this way, so that way I get the darks, and then the lights start coming down a little bit, right? The curves, the curvatures are gonna work wonders in this picture. Just stay tuned for that. Here's the highlights. For the highlights, I also want to kind of go ahead and dim them down as dark as possible. So now you start seeing that now he starts coming into view or whatever a lot better. So that way we can actually get like, you know, his thing. So, but I don't want it to be completely like dull. So I don't want it that high. I'll just put it like at 40. Around 40, perfect. Right? You guys will see Tokido a little bit better now. Then we'll go with the whites, which is the shadows, right? And I still could get the shadows that originally the picture intended. There. So I'll bump the shadows up a little bit. It's a little bit light. You still can see Tokido. It's better looking. Everything is fading, is not fading, right? And then the whites, I could dim it down just a little bit, right? I don't want to touch too much on the whites here, but I definitely want to zoom in on the blacks because the blacks is definitely going to be what's going to help with this, with standing out, making it stand out, or whatever the case might be, right? So then now we go to the temperature. See, this color is going to help. This blue-ish hue is going to help with the white shirt and everything else popping out. So there I do that, and then I go to the purple side of things, of course, to get that purple from the combo breakers to pop out. You don't want to go too far in because then it starts changing his color tone because he's very easily like absorbs colors, which is why the temperature, you gotta be careful when you're playing with the temperatures, so that way he doesn't look bluish or purplish or anything like that of the sort. From there, I hit a little bit on the vibrance, not too much, again, so that way his skin doesn't start glowing. And then I hit the saturation. The saturation puts the emphasis on his skin tone, and then I adjust it with vibrance. So then now Tokido is in focus. You can see his arm, you can see his colors, you can see everything, right? Now, we're going to continue going a little bit further here by keeping the texture the way it is. So I want to test two theories. Two theories can be correct. You could go further right and remove a lot of textures, or you could go further left, or you could go further right like I like to do and give them a little bit of grit. So I'm going to give a little bit of grit. That way you can see the definitions of the shirt, things like that of the sort. And then here at the clarity, I'm also going to go a little bit to the right instead of to the left. So that way we're able to see more definition of the collars, of what he's wearing, you know, his hair, arm hairs, things like that of the sort. Dehaze, we're going to go ahead and keep the dehaze to a minimum at a plus 4. And then the vignette, of course, we want the vignette so that way it could kind of focus on him. So not too much, but not too little. And then hit it a little bit with a grain because every picture needs grain. Most times you'll get it, other times you won't. But this is where we're at. So then what I want to do is I want to, again, emphasize on the focus of like color balance, color spectrum. So as you can see, I'm lowering this down because when I lower this down, the background back here, you're able to go ahead and see the background, like, which means that you can see more highlights over here, right? But I also don't want Tokido to just start looking dark as shit. So in the middle, right? In the middle is where I bump it up, and this is where you get the fine-tuned balance of his of everything that we've been working on. So a little bit of curvature there, and then a little bit of dark here on the back side, and now we have very good in contrast, with contrast, Tokido-san, you know, impose doing his thing, right? So now we'll open it up as a copy like always. I hope you guys like this kind of shit. So now that I got that, of course, we want to go ahead and start off with the usual, you know, by giving a second layer. So don't ever work on your first layer, work on your second layer always. And then I don't want to really focus on the background. So what I'm going to do is, again, hit the Gaussian blur, right, technique. And then the background isn't so heavy that like I have to like, oh, it has to be removed. All you have to do is kind of hit it with like maybe like this much, 8 pixels on there, right? And then again we put on a layer mask, and you'll see the difference just because like off the layer mask you can see the difference. See, like if I turn off the layer mask, or if I, you know, if I turn around and dump this, you can see how different invisibility it is, right? So, let's dump it there. Grab the eraser. Actually backwards. No, we're good. Okay, and then let's get the background. Get the backgrounding. And not too much. I like, again, like I said, I don't want to really remove the background as much. Just pretty much make it that he is not like that is not so noisy. So I'm okay with this. Like this should be okay. Right? So from here, of course, we do another layer, take the bucket, throw the purple on there, and we want to play around with this one. Like this one isn't like the same kind of like um the same kind of color spectrum, I guess you could say. Um I don't know. The color dodge looks nice. Okay, I'm gonna do color dodge just to see something. Oh, that's beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay. So color dodge is gonna be great. Color dodge is gonna be great. Okay. So then I hit it with a layer, right? Take my bucket, drop the bucket, and then take my eraser, make it a little bit bigger, about this big, maybe bigger here, and do a color dodge on the background, right? And I really want to get this the lanyard, because the lanyard looks really cool with that color dodge. See, even the badge, like it don't have to be the entire badge, but just like a portion of the badge with the color dodge. Even like a portion of his hair, not all of it, but like a portion, something like that. Like it just hints. You don't want to do it too much, like on the shirt or anything like that. It's just like hints on the outside, something like that. And there you go. Something simple. Again, everything to me is about simplicity. two, three. We got the Kid Blas. Say what's up in the chat. Say hi. What is it? Did I forget to do anything in that one? I mean, I could have cropped it, but don't necessarily need it. This one is tricky only because there's not much that you really want to touch on. Besides, kind of like giving like the right hue in the sense of that. Like this one captured like Combo Breaker at its thing. Like the colors of Combo Breaker. Yeah, because he's getting lost in his. Yeah, he's so light skinned that like he's so white, so pale. That you got to be careful like of losing him. Uh huh. Kind of the same concept as the last picture. You want to go ahead, hit it with the Gaussian blur. This one because it has much more noise in the background, maybe a little bit higher. Layer mask, dump the oil. That's what I like to call it. Uh, Bro, this is definitely tedious work. I ain't gonna front. I love doing it though, but it is tedious work. Get hit another layer, dump this thing here, and then again play around with which one you want to do. I don't know if color burn would be the ideal one. Oh, it's not bad. Let's see. Let's play around with it. I just don't want him looking purple. That's really what it is. I just don't want him looking purple. Can I crop it maybe? Yeah, because he's too censored. This way. It takes all the noise. Yeah, this rules a third shit. I just chopped his ass off. No, that's fire. That's fair. That's fine. That's fair and fine. Toot 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 toot. All right, let's edit one that I've been wanting to edit. Let's see. Um, Interesting. Let's see. Um, Le Press. Here we go. Le Press. Miss Press. The beautiful press. I'll do that. This is the contrast here. Miss Press. Okay. All right. So I got the colors to pop without losing shit. This is what I want. I don't want to lose too much detail. I'm gonna say something. Mm-hmm. Ah. Let's see. I gotta fucking crop it, don't I? Uh, yeah. I mean, I could, but I don't want to do that. Okay, that works better. Still think. Um, just a little framework. See, that's the thing, though. Now, okay, that's better. All right. Let's see where we left off. Let's do. I still got this whole fucking line. Well, actually, let me stop because I kind of skipped around here. Let's. We got this one. All right, let's continue the work. We do this shit quick now. One, two, three. One, two, three. Yeah, I work pretty quickly though. I don't even gotta touch it because I already got the background hue. That's it. Just save it. That's how fast that goes. Next. Adrian. Okay. Something there. That's what I want. I like the intensity here. Fuck. Guess I'm only doing one more batch. Do 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 do. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. Woo! Jesus. One second, guys. All right. Did I finish this one? Yeah. Yo, I didn't even know. I got any no music in background. Nah, cause I didn't put the media music. But now that you're there, I didn't even know you was there, my guy. My bad. You're no music. Little sick, bro. So the party I went to there was South Korean girl. Ooh, what? Okay, big pimpin', big pimpin', big pimpin'. I see you. La coreana. Let me know when you back, bro. I thought I've been talking to myself this entire time. Yeah, that looks fucking nuts. Okay, I like that. That's better. Totalmente mejor. Reject everything. My guy, si tú no le metes el switch a esa coreana, se lo voy a meter por ti. Ven acá. Y ese alboroto. Te la estás jugando, te la estás jugando, te la estás jugando, loco. Okay. Let me see how many more of these I gotta go down. I mean, there's a few of them that are skippable. So in total, from here to here, I still got 210 photos to go. Jesus Christ. Okay, I deeply enjoyed that. So, what we gonna do here? Give me a second. Okay. What the fuck? Hold on. All right. All right. So let me go back to this thing. Um, my biggest thing right now is that I have to things that I'm practicing with. I'm practicing with this lever, but leverless. But I don't know. I have much work to do. So that's really where I'm currently sitting at, like trying to figure out like what to do. Cause like on one half, I feel like buying just the Hot 42 again and just doing that, and then just having my Hot 42. On the other side, I feel like if I do that, I'm just blowing money and shit like that. When I already have a perfectly good lever list, but I should just adjust and learn the button out, the button, right? It's like the annoyance of like mastering something, cause that's really all. That's really what it is for me. For me, it's like, damn it. Like I'm gonna play differently. I'm gonna play timid and all that shit, which sucks, cause it's all about decision making. If I'm not making decisions, I'm getting hit. So it's something that like I'm like, yeah. So when I feel frustrated, I genuinely feel I genuinely feel like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go back to the controller. And then I'm just like, but that's what keeps happening, that you keep saying fuck it. Let's go back to the controller, and then we go back to the controller, and then I'm having misinputs because my fat ass fingers aren't like doing what I'm at, well, it's doing. I'm pressing too many buttons at once or some shit. So, yeah. I gotta buy this fucking bundle. Ah, fuck. Brother. I'm so fucking, you know? I'm just fucking stupid, bro. Alright, god damn it. I could program the controller to literally be exactly this way without having to like. I get it. Uppercut.
Swerving between emotion.
Press less buttons. Gotta clean up my buttons. I gotta get this combo down right. I got a knee.